What if the biggest barrier to understanding Portuguese has nothing to do with the words you can or cannot understand? One unschooler in my program started picking up 85% of spoken Portuguese after 18 episodes of a soap without the subtitles on. But before her ears caught a single word, her brain was already running step 0. In this video, I'm going to show you what that is, walk you through a live demo so you feel it yourself, and give you the exact practice move to start using today. Once you see what it actually is, you'll understand why everything else you've tried has felt harder than it should. Most learners dive straight into words by listening hard, chasing every sound, stressing when something slips past. But there's a step before all of that, and almost nobody talks about it. I call it step 0. See if you can catch the difference between these two. And now. Yes, I turned off the sound on purpose. You probably don't need to know the words I said to tell I was happy and excited the first time. Bom dia, but tired in the second. Bom dia. Same words, but the message was completely different. How is that possible? It's because around 70% of human communication is nonverbal. Before you hear a single word, the face, the body, and tone have already done most of the legwork. So instead of chasing individual words and hiding behind subtitles, start here. Start with what your eyes can already read. In a second, I'll show you exactly what that looks like on real content, even in a language you've never studied, nor I. So let's put this to the test right now. I'll be watching a scene of a Turkish soap, first without subtitles or translation. Turkish, by the way, is not one of the 11 languages I've learned. I did learn a few expressions when I lived in Amsterdam, but I've forgotten them already. Anyway, I won't be doing it alone because if you also don't know Turkish, you can do this with me as well. Together, we'll guess what's going on by observing body language and listening to tone and eventually background music, if there's any. Okay, here's a man. Okay, he's pouring tea. I looked at that picture. Seems like it was someone important. Probably someone who's passed away. Maybe the wife. Is clearly happy to see her. She also notices the picture. There's something with that woman. Probably passed away. Gesture shows me he's like consoling her, or she seems a bit worried. Worried or sad, I don't know. He probably like, don't worry about your problems, just come and eat. Now let's rewatch the same scene, but now with English subtitles to check how good my reading of body language and tone was. It was really, literally, I only had body language to hold on to. Alright, someone's birthday. Our daughter's turned 25. Okay, so he's really looking at the wife who probably passed away. So basically I'm getting more details, but it seems like he was embarrassed of talking to the wife in front of the daughter. Okay, so he was consoling her in a way, because it's almost, I mean, she's a grown woman, but almost saying like, I want mommy back. He like changes the subject, let's just eat. So I think that was not too far off and definitely close to 70% comprehension of what was going on. What was your like? Now remember, the idea was not to catch everything, which is fine. The point is that your brain can already extract enough meaning from body language and tone alone to follow what's happening. And if it worked for me, watching that cold with no preparation, imagine what it can unlock for your Portuguese. You don't need to understand every word to understand what's going on. You never did. And perhaps you're still thinking, okay, it's a nice workaround for beginners, but once my Portuguese improves, I won't need it anymore. But there's a short clip I want to show you which surprised me big time. In it, you'll see José Rodrigues dos Santos, one of Portuguese's most recognized broadcasters and authors. So, I grew up seeing him wink at the end of every news broadcast, but I had no idea he'd started winking when doing radio. You see, the wink changed how he spoke, and that changed how he connected with his audience. He also cites a study putting visual communication at 75% of how we actually connect with each other, and demos the same sentence, "O Manel és bandido," in two completely different tones. You see, this isn't a learner's crutch. Nonverbal communication is how people connect. It's just the one skill we almost never think to train when learning a language. So now let's look at exactly how you can start training this yourself. Since watching without sound may feel awkward if you don't know where to start or what to use, here are some pointers. The show I recommend is Pôr do Sol. It's a Portuguese soap opera, dramatic, emotionally charged, full of body language and music doing exactly the work we've been talking about. And crucially, it has both Portuguese and English subtitles, so you can check your work afterwards. Once you've picked a scene, these are the 4 steps. First, just watch, without sound or subtitles. Just notice body language. For step 2, you listen to the same scene, turn the sound on, but focus on tone and music, not individual words. For step 3, you confirm, have the subtitles on, see how close you got. And finally, step 4 is about applying it. Take what you've trained here into real native content and real conversations. This is your step 0, and once you've done it a few times, you'll stop freezing and start understanding, and that changes everything. So now you have your step 0, 4 steps to understanding body language before a single word reaches you. Watch, listen, confirm, apply, and you know exactly where to start. A soap like Pôr do Sol without sound or subtitles. But I know it can be awkward to do this by yourself. If you'd like to practice it with me, I'm running my free Listen to Portuguese masterclass, where we'll run the 4 steps together on real Portuguese content, and I'll show you the patterns of how we natives actually speak, so you stop guessing and start understanding. All the details are in the link below. This is your step 0, and it's closer than you think.